On May 1st of this year, which was last Thursday, was my final day of work at Total Composites, where for the last 2 years, I worked as a van and camper tech. I started when I was 18, fresh out of high school, and I mean fresh. I graduated sometime late April on a Friday, took the weekend off, and then come Monday morning, got straight to work. And it's already been 2 years since then. But it was also around this time, back in 2019, where I was given these boots as a graduation from middle school present thing, you could say. I mean, these carried me through work, they carried me through countless adventures, school, hikes, winters, all of it. But I definitely didn't know, especially in the last few months, that the journey for these two little fellas was kind of coming to an end. But before I hang them up on my wall, where they will remain as a relic of the past forever, there's a few things I wanted to do. One, I drenched them in rubbing alcohol because they fucking reeked. But two, I wanted to make this video real quick, just talking about their journey and some of these battle scars. Not sure if you can see them on camera, but yeah, we will cover them. Okay, so starting back in 2019, I got these, like I said, as a graduation gift from high school. I think the first year or so was actually pretty tame. I didn't bang them up too much. I'm trying to see if I can find one specific thing though. One thing did happen. You probably can't see that, but that is this splotch right here. It is the tiniest little speck of red paint, and I got it during art class freshman year. I took painting, and I was absolutely horrified. Like I was in so much distraught. I was heartbroken. I was like, oh my God, my parents are going to see this. They're going to be like, oh, okay, you already fucked up your boots. But no, they never noticed, and afterwards I was like, okay, it's not a big deal. And I was like, okay, well, for fuck's sake, they're hiking boots. Like, I'm gonna get them dirty. And so yeah, first year, pretty tame. 2019 to 2020.
COVID.
Yeah, and these kind of went out of commission for a while. I wasn't really going outside. Not a whole lot was happening. It honestly was not until like the last 2 years of work that these got the majority of their wear and tear. Like, I had worn them to school, worn them on hikes, and sure, they started to wear and crease up a little bit, but work, that's basically what took their toll on it the most. Is working in these and all of the moving around and crawling and climbing that I had to do. But these boots, these Keens, I'll probably be getting another pair of them. They worked perfectly. It has less of a traditional pointed toe. It's more blunted and actually wider around the toe bridge than it is around the rest of the foot, which works perfectly for my like hideously wide duck feet. And when it comes to the toes, my feet just go like, rah. And it was a hard time for a really long time finding shoes that fit and were comfortable. But these, I was able to break them in like a few months. And from that point forward, they were basically the most comfortable working / hiking shoe I've ever owned. Not sponsored, by the way. Okay, yeah, but work. So when I first started at Total Composites, I was upfitting vans. And with that, I was putting on solar panels, working on the inside, upfitting cabinetry and furniture and whatnot, as well as crawling underneath to put in like Nerf bars and shit. And so the first major injury, and it didn't come to arise until a few months ago, was this right here. And this little mouth of sole and started flapping open towards the tail end of my upfitting career. Because I remember when this went from a tiny rip to a massive rip, to almost making these unwearable, and I'll show you in just a sec. So I was installing a Nerf bar, right? You know, I was underneath putting in the riv nuts, just like, like installing it, and I was on a gator on my back. If you don't know what those are, it's kind of like an office chair for your back. Mechanics use them a lot. You've probably seen them around. But yeah, I rolled back, and my feet were kind of up, so I rolled back, and I didn't know that my toe was caught on one of the bolts that I had just set, and it just, like, you know, took out this tiny little chunk like that. And I was like, oh man, that sucks. But then later on, when I continued working in these, I was getting up and off of scaffolding to get to the roof. And then eventually when we moved on from vans to doing truck campers, same deal, scaffolding, always climbing up, always climbing down, always crawling around. If I wasn't crawling around underneath, I was on the roof crawling around. And all of that pressure on my toe made this rip even worse. And as you can see, some of the sole is eaten off completely off of the left side where my big toe, like the ball of my big toe kind of rests. And all that crawling around of just like bending and bending and bending eventually turned this into this. Let me tell you, this fucking sucked to deal with for the last 2 months because it's been raining and snowing a lot. In April of all months, Colorado weather. It's spring, it's been very moist, and yeah, my feet have been getting nice and soaked, but at the same time, I was like, you know, I'm almost done with work. I'm gonna have a summer, then I'm going off to college. I'm not gonna be a pussy and get a new pair of boots. You know, I have 2 more months left. I'm just gonna ride this out, and it's been painful, very. Because yeah, the rip even started to travel up into the shoe, away from the sole, and started ripping the actual shoe itself. Basically, my entire toe was completely exposed. The only thing that was covering it was this very thin layer of insulation. Not even insulation, just like inner cover that keeps it all together. Let me get my phone real quick. Hang on. I just need a flashlight. All right. So if you look at the inside of both of the shoes, you can see that the heel is completely worn out. Like, I basically wore these down and wear them down to the bare insulation and sole of the shoe on both shoes. Like, it is absolutely insane just how much wear and tear I was able to tolerate with these before I finally said enough is enough. So I had already planned to quit this job, take a nice long summer, a summer that I didn't have when I graduated high school, before I headed off to college for a computer science. Nerd shit. And it's almost like the second the word retire or quit left my mouth, these also started to quit. Like, yeah, this toe rip got even worse. The soles were starting to literally peel and melt off from all the solvents that I was using. All the denatured alcohol that I was like squirting onto rags and cleaning the campers with and disinfecting with. A lot more times than not, there was like puddles of that and other different solvents and cleaners on the ground. And stepping in this, I could feel like at the end of each day, like my feet felt sticky, but not from like the alcohols that we were using. Like my sole was melting off and turning into a mush, kind of sticky. It was very unpleasant. I didn't even want to walk into my house with these, which I didn't. I started taking them off in the garage. I was like, okay, I'm not getting this in the house. Let's see. Oh, big one. I heavily started to rely on the heel hooks, whatever you call these little heel loops that you use to like get them onto your heel, makes it easier. Heavily started relying on these because eventually I found that the laces were literally just like withering off. Like every time I untied them, a new longer piece of lace would just like fall off. It would just pop off. Like these were wearing down to fuck. And me being me, I didn't want to get new laces, so I was like, okay, I'll tie these super tight. Like both of these are currently triple knotted. And I think I tied these last like 2 years ago because ever since then I've like a fucking behemoth, and barbarically I've just been forcing these onto my feet every morning. I've just been like, and I've heavily relied on these. And this one is like basically tearing off the shoe at this point. And this other one completely tore off. Like this no longer had a use. And you can see that from the fucking heel, just how much that's like worn down. I could basically completely stick my finger in between the outer shoe and the inner insulation layers. Like all that's completely ripped open at this point. And same here. Like it's you can't really see it, but it's all torn open. But yeah, I basically don't have a heel or toe on either of these shoes. And the final hurrah, I think, right before I stopped wearing these was on this shoe right here, where, like I said, this toe completely ripped open, but not only that, the side of this sole was ripping open. Same over here. And basically this whole sole is like popping off. Like this sole is attached by a hope and a goddamn dream. And other than that, like any day could just like, but as you can see, I already have the nail nailed in up there. And yes, it is properly measured out and cross-beamed. Okay? I know what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm going to undo these laces, kind of make a loop, hang them up. And yeah, that is the story of these boots in a nutshell and where they will remain for the rest of my life. And maybe even then some. I'm not sure how long these are going to be around after me. All right, check this out. I'm about to undo a few years worth of tying. I shit you not. Last time I tied these was like 2023.
Okay, come on, buddy.
Okay, there we go. Even now, I'm kind of being gentle because I still feel like any moment this is just going to like completely dissolve apart. All right. Laces undone on number 1. If you don't believe me, like, that's a piece of the lace right there. Completely missing the cap. Both of them. Oh my god. But yeah, see, both of them are completely missing the cap. Okay. Don't rip. That'll go under that loop, and then this will come undone. But I have to do that twice. God, this is like a really fucked up algebra equation. Okay, there. You couldn't see it. The second you heard that little snap. The second I undid a knot, a fucking cloud of dust. All right, boys, your day has come. And then the bow needs work. And there you have it. Retired boots. I'm thinking something like, yeah! There you go. It's 6 years. 6 years of living just right there. It's kind of crazy to think. I'll probably get that exact same pair. They're really nice. It's kind of crazy. Like I'm just now grasping the fact that I've had those for 6 years. I couldn't grow a beard when I first got those. That's how long I've had them. That's insane to me. But yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Hope you enjoyed that, and it's time to close down shop. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.